Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 2 between EG's Idra and TT1. We can see this time we are on Shakura's Plateau. Idra is spawning here in the upper right position as our green Zerg player, and here in the upper left is TT1 as the blue Protoss. So yes, game number 2 between Idra and TT1. Hopefully you guys did enjoy game number 1. It was really interesting. We saw TT1 open up with that Forge fast expand, and Idra counteracting that with some crazy early roach aggression, managed to bust through that wall, get up into the main, and do so much economic damage, killing off a gateway and a forge as well. Really just set the pace for the rest of the game and put Idra so far ahead. We saw that counterattack from TT1, but it really didn't matter because Idra was so far ahead that he could just throw his units at that counterattack without even breaking a sweat. So yes, here we go, game number 2. TT1 will be again going for a Forge fast expand, but that, just because it didn't work the first game, doesn't mean it's going to be the same case this game. You know, that roach aggression was really so strong last game because Idra was really close with those roaches, and he was able to pump them out and get them to TT1's base so early on. Also, TT1 will be able to form a full wall off here with this smaller ramp than what was provided on Metalopolis. So certainly expect this opening to be strong at the least. How the late game works, well, really no way of knowing quite yet, but we'll have to keep an eye out and see. We can see right now TT1 opening up with a little aggression. Let's keep an eye on Idra. We'll be starting out one base again, opening up with that pool extractor, and we'll keep an eye on his Roach Warren timing as well, because he could very well go for that same style of that roach heavy early aggression. The only thing is that, you know, if you push out with something like that and you don't do a lot of damage, then you're really screwed because you're so far behind, and without droning up and spending all of your larva on those early game units, you really have to do significant damage to not kind of shoot yourself in the foot. So we can see right now, a drone will be trying to shoo that probe away, just chasing it around, getting a couple shots off here and there. There is that extractor just about finished, so we'll see that getting saturated. And yeah, here is that expansion. So TT1 with that scouting information, and given the sheer size of this map, is comfortable going Nexus first, then that Forge, Cannon, Gateway, etc., etc. We're going to see the Overlord for Idra move across and scout out that Forge fast expand first, checking the front. He sees, hey, nothing at the ramp, and look at that, as expected, Forge fast expand is down. So Probe Scout wants to stay in the base. He, of course, wants to check if that Roach Warren does come on through or not. We've got 2 Zerglings coming on through. Here comes the Queen as well. And this is something, you know, the more Idra games I've been watching and commentating lately, I've been seeing him just open up with 2. And I'm so used to seeing 4 Zerglings in a lot of Zerg games that I'm actually pretty happy that Idra, he's feeling comfortable with just the 2. He's saying, you know, this is enough to defend myself. It's enough to scout. I'd rather use that extra larva on another drone. So, and that's kind of, those are the kind of things here at professional level. You find those subtle nuances that can certainly make the difference in a game come the later stages. Just those small little tweaks at the beginning of your gameplay, and those small little timing differences can certainly help tilt the scale in your favors. Back over here inside of TT1's base, there's that gateway finish. Let's see that Cybernex core get placed down with that scouting probe still in the base. Really not obviously worried about any aggression, and he has continued up that scouting, looking for that Roach Warren. Can see, of course, Idra's natural expansion is up, so is TT1's. There is that Cybernex core, and as you can see, that does form a full wall off. There's no space left there for any nasty little speedlings to run on through, and once TT1 decides to leave, he will be breaking down one of these buildings, whatever he chooses to do. Really, I've seen everything. I've seen people kill off forges, Cybernex cores, even gateways from time to time. That's much less likely. We're more likely to still see him kill off either that forge or that Cybernex core and then just rebuild one in his main. So Idra just droning up right now, doesn't even have that metabolic boost coming through at the moment, and yeah, that's about that. Coming out with a quick third, so there you go, completely different from last game. Last game went with that crazy early aggression. This game going with some fast, heavy macro. He's focused on the mid to late game, and I'm just concerned if we see a strong 6 or 7 gate push from TT1, Idra could have a difficult time defending against that. Now we're going to see that Zergling moving around. He is checking for a probe, and look at that sneaky probe getting ready to move in with that additional scouting, and he should spot that third unless that Zergling manages to catch him. Oh boy, Zergling will be pathing right in the direction of that probe, and let's see if he gets close enough, or is that probe going to head out of there before this happens? Let's keep an eye out on it. Zergling, do you see him? Do you see him? Oh, you do, but you just walk right by it. There we go, Idra watching the minimap like a true professional, scouting out that probe, manages to turn face and take some shots, but looks like the probe will still scout that expansion. So right now TT1 is aware of this expansion, and now he can make that decision of what to do. We can see level 1 upgrade coming on through, warp gate research being chrono boosted, and we have got 5 plus number 6 gate push, level 1 upgrade, probably what we're going to be seeing here from TT1. Back over here for Idra. Metabolic boost just about finished. He has got the level 1 missile attack coming through as well, getting a 2nd and 3rd extractor over here. Also, of course, there is that Roach Warren. Roach being mostly the primary composition. Sometimes you will see Speedling, Baneling with a lot of Baneling dropping, but Roach, Hydra, Corruptor, Infestor, that's the more likely, the thing that you do see more often is what I am meaning to say. So the level 1 upgrade, about 50% of the way finished right now. He has got his 6 gateways up and running, so should start churning out units sometime relatively soon, and he'll be starting out with just these Zealots here, going straight into the 3rd. So here we go. Idra needs to go into defense mode right now. Now that Roach Warren just started, Zerglings really won't be enough to deal with this amount of Zealots. He would need quite a few Zerglings or some Spine Crawlers as well, and the Zealots will be going straight for that hatchery, using a few of them as well to engage the Queen, drones, and those Zerglings. With that Zergling and drone surround, going to be forced to fully engage with all of those Zealots, but look at how quickly those Zealots just tear through those units. A few more Zealots being streamed on out. There we go. The 12 Roaches, though, should help defend, but I don't know if they're going to get there before this gets dropped. We're going to be seeing these drones try to engage and try to taunt these Zealots away from killing that hatchery. Here come the Roaches, though, streaming on in, one by one. He wants to get those grouped up, though, and engage fully. Get some nice micro on that creep with that extra speed to stay away from those Zealots, but it looks like these Zealots may be able to drop it. Now there's 2 Roaches trying to target fire these down, plus those Roaches at the front. Does he get it? Going to be very, very close. They'll take a few more shots. Does he get the hatchery? Whoa, oh, man, with the one last shot before sacrificing his life, the Zealot takes out the hatchery, and that is absolutely huge for TT1. It cannot be understated how important it was for him to drop that. Throwing away all of those Zealots, taking out that expansion was absolutely crucial. Great job there by TT1, managing to drop that. We're going to see him go sentry heavy now. He wants to start accumulating that energy for those force fields. Look at them, exactly tied up right now, and 900 resources lost apiece. Roach Army sitting with control at the center of the map, should be sending a couple up to that tower. He does want to find, and there we go, he has found that proxy pylon, so we'll be taking it out to stop any of those shenanigans from happening anytime in the future. Probably check to the inside of this base as well, and actually looks like Idra will be moving right now into his 4th. So even though they lost the same amount of resources, the fact that Idra lost a base, he lost that extra larva production as well, I would say puts him quite a bit behind, most certainly. And we did see some units in there. I'm sorry for missing. Let me try to determine what that was. I'm guessing it was just a Zergling or 2. Maybe it was an Overlord. I don't know. I guess it doesn't matter all that much. Idra moving across the map right now, doing a great job of spreading his creep. Looks like TT1 is getting ready for a push sometime soon. We'll be waiting for that armor upgrade. We'll be pushing out with that timing push, trying to kill off this Overlord, stop him from getting any unnecessary scouting. It looks like the Cybernex core was the building destruction of choice. We can see that rebuilt in his main, but here comes a push, along with the fact of coming out with that 3rd expansion. Oh, killing it. Did Idra scout that? So is he aware of that? Yes, Idra did scout it. So we actually see TT1 destroying that, getting those extra resources to go for a stronger push. So right now, Idra is pretty much just expecting TT1 to maybe push out with a minor army, but mostly defending his 3rd, but that is not happening because Idra is not aware of the fact that that 3rd has been canceled. So we will be seeing a very strong push coming up and knocking at Idra's front door, and let's see how he can defend against it. We've got Roach Hydra coming out. Ton of Hydras being built right now. Roaches will be retreating. Unfortunately, Idra with that momentary supply block, though, losing a couple of Overlords. Overlord scouts checking for additional bases here as well. Idra's got this base up here, but that is not being utilized because he is focused on defending himself. There's a very strong push right now. Lots of proxy pylons getting as close to the action as possible. Look at those force fields splitting the army in half. Lots of the Hydras in the background. The Hydra, of course, being that higher DPS unit, keeping that at bay while taking out the Roaches is absolutely crucial there. And with some nice force fields and Guardian shields, Idra just leaves the game. TT1 opened this game with the same build as he started last game with, which is that Forge Fast Expand. We can see Idra scouting that out with his initial Overlord. Fully aware of that Forge Fast Expand, this game we did see Idra decide to come out with a quick 3rd. As opposed to last game where he opted for some early Roach aggression, this game Idra decided to macro up and focus on his economy instead of doing a lot of early game damage. Spotting that third expansion with his probe scout, TT1 was fully aware and decided to push out with a heavy zealot force. He was opening up with a 6th gate to follow up that Forge Fast expand, and with these zealots, TT1 was able to take out Idra's expansion with that last surviving breath of one of his zealots. And I'm actually just going to fast forward it here because I think that was phenomenal, the fact that he took it out. So we're going to see his one last zealot taking out that hatchery, and that was a pretty big victory for TT1. We then saw TT1 feign an expansion. That Zergling at the Xel'Naga scouted out that expansion, so Idra was aware of a third coming out for TT1. TT1 then destroyed that expansion by canceling it and pushed out. Thinking TT1 had moved into a third and not fully expecting such a strong push, Idra was not prepared for the big aggressive push that we saw here from TT1. That, with some nicely placed force fields, was enough for TT1 to overwhelm Idra's army and force the GG. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you have enjoyed this commentary. This was game number 2 between Idra and TT1. We are now tied up 1-1. As always, guys, if you like the content, please subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned for game number 3. And as always, keep watching and keep owning.